Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is part 2 of a 2-part recap. If you're wondering where part 1 was, well, go check in the feed and be sure to subscribe so that way you always get your episodes. But enough of that. Let's get right back into the episode.
And now we put a pin in all that because now Mary and Bronwyn go to lunch. Okay, actually, it's not a pin because it's Mary and Bronwyn. And Mary, they sit down and Mary's like, you were wise beyond your years for not traveling back with us. She's like, was it awful? Pure chaos. She's like, couldn't have been that bad. She's like, from the time we boarded, the time we sat in our seats, Meredith started going in on Brittany. And, you know, I have my own things with Brittany, but I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. I mean, let's also not overlook this, Ronnie. Mary hates Brittany, hates her, thinks she's a waste of space. She doesn't like talking to this person. And even she is taking up for Brittany in this situation. So that's a bad sign.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't doubt that Lisa and Meredith were monsters on that plane. The thing I doubt is the level at which Heather and Whitney take it to. You know, they just take it to this level. It's like she was screaming at the top of her lungs for 4 hours straight and na. And that's where I'm like, But you can tell just how Meredith is reacting that she's guilty. You know, of some of this.
She definitely was talking shit.
I guess my thing is I just don't understand Meredith doing this on the boat and everybody being fine with it. And Heather running around screaming bitch at somebody and telling her she's guilty of all of this stuff that this lady's claiming she didn't do, to the point where she's sobbing and Heather's still going at her constantly. I don't understand how all of this stuff is so different. Like they're all acting like they're on some moral high ground, but it's different because it's on a plane.
It's different because it's off camera. Because on the boat, you're making content, you're making a TV show. But on the plane, it's like, okay, cameras are down, you know, like union rules.
I guess. Okay. That makes sense.
Can't work this many hours. I actually genuinely think it's kind of like, okay, like when people are being ridiculous on the boat, I think there's some element of, because we're on camera, this is our job. Our job is to be like brutally honest right now. And we're going to be confrontational, but it's all in purpose of providing a story for everyone, even though it's our truth. But it's also like we're going to communicate in a way that's different than our normal communications. But now it's like we're recovering, and I think also I think sitting behind someone on a plane and just talking shit about them for like 4 hours is there's a level of nastiness to that is different than kind of like a confrontation at a table, you know, where you can say, well, I was mad, but like really like the word bullying gets thrown around a lot and almost too much, not almost, definitely too much on Bravo. But this situation, it does harken back to some classic, you know, middle school bullying. And I think people are reacting to that.
Yeah. Agreed. So then we go to Whitney and Justin golfing, and Whitney is bending over, touching her toes in her little skirt, trying to get attention from Justin. And again, it doesn't work, which I felt kind of bad. So I was glad for that scene later where Whitney's going to go get some from somebody else because she's really trying with this guy and he's just like, whatever. So then she starts telling him about what happened on the plane. And she's like, that was the most unhinged, vulgar thing. Meredith lost her frickin' mind. And when she started going for Brittany, and then Lisa was just in her ear pouring fuel on the fire. And then she'd look over to Brittany and be like, you fucked up. You owe Meredith an apology. You fucked up. Yeah. And then she'd look at me and be like, Whitney, give us your phone. Show us the proof. The TikTok doesn't exist. You guys are liars.
Now, I do believe that there is a world where the tone, like Lisa may have said those words, but the tone could have been slightly different. Not to be a Lisa apologist, but this is more like, I take everything that Whitney says with a grain of salt. I can imagine Lisa being like, Brittany, you really fucked up on this one. You need to apologize. Yeah, you really need to, as opposed to,
where's
you
the
fucked
TikTok?
up. Like it could have gone both ways. And like Whitney is really good at misinterpreting things. So in this case, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm taking this one with a grain of salt. But that being said, I do think that Meredith and Lisa were again being dicks.
I think I think my general stance is it's in the middle of what all these people are saying. I think it's somewhere in the middle. It's certainly not as innocent as Meredith is making it sound, but it's not as vile and Heather and Whitney are going to make it sound because they're Heather and Whitney. you know.
I think that like no matter what Meredith says, and Meredith frames it as I was just venting to Lisa about my feelings. It's like, well, Brittany's right there. Like you're being mean. It doesn't matter. Like Meredith Marks is one of my faves, but like this is a mean moment for her. This is a real mean moment for her.
So then we go to Lisa and John, and of course she's eating like Wendy's nuggets and dipping them in the sauces and stuff. And she's like, oh my God, that was like so crazy. Yeah, like Meredith lost her mind, you know, and she's my friend. Like I love her so much, but you know, she was like crying. She was so hurt and she didn't talk to Brittany. She was just saying all this mean stuff about Brittany, like to me, but she was being so loud. And he's like, but you weren't saying anything, right? And she goes, no, I would never. No, I would never. But you know, like, I don't know, like I've never seen Meredith that upset, you know, and I've seen Meredith mad, but I've never seen her that upset. Okay, so now I'm starting to change because we've seen how Meredith has gone off on Lisa and it's been ugly. And Lisa kind of deserved it too, because that was after the, you know, bathroom venting thing caught on mic situation that
Meredith's
happened.
dad had died.
Yes, and Meredith lost her shit on Lisa. So now this is where I start to change. And I'm like, oh, well, if Lisa is saying that Meredith was that crazy, then now I don't know. Now I'm stumped. Now I'm like, shit, Meredith did it. Meredith is 100% guilty.
Or Lisa's trying to create distance because she knows it was a bad look and she's trying to be like, yeah, I'll throw her under the bus. That way I don't get any dirt on me. But I agree with you. I keep on sort of playing out all the different scenarios. I like to voice out all the perspectives because I know there'll be people who will say, but what about this? And so I'm sort of trying to like hold room for all the perspectives. But I do think ultimately, yeah, I think like Meredith was, at the very least, Meredith was talking shit about Brittany right there, right behind her back, where Brittany could clearly hear it. And it was not a nice thing to do. It was not, I mean,
well, but see, that changes my opinion though, because if she was just talking to Lisa, even if she was doing it loud enough that Brittany could hear, and she's like, fuck this girl, I don't mind that because Brittany just brought onto camera that her husband's cheating on her. So to me, it's like, well, you know, you bought the ticket, sit for the show. That's how I feel about that. But if Meredith was screaming and yelling and for 4 hours straight and wouldn't stop and was shaking her chair and throwing wine on her and pulling her hair and Lisa was behind her abusing her as well, yeah, that's totally different. That's bullying. So it's so hard to have an opinion because I don't know that I believe that it was that extreme. So I can't say they were bullies because Brittany kind of deserved it. But then on the other hand, you know, if they were that extreme, then they are bullies. So it's just hard to say. And I'm flip-flopping, not because I don't have an opinion, but because we don't have all the information.
I think the most damning thing is Mary. I think the fact that Mary is taking up for Brittany speaks volumes. And I think Mary's entire demeanor in the final scene of the episode, which we'll get to, I think that also spoke volumes. She seemed genuinely upset and scared. Like she seemed nervous almost. Not nervous, but like she had this, her entire body language and her voice, everything about her seemed like, oh, I'm not telling you like you need to check yourself. She's like, are you okay? Because what I saw was alarming. She was rattled, like she'd seen a ghost. And I feel like that was the most damning part.
I think that was because it was a drug. I think in Mary's mind, that was a drug and alcohol conversation. And I think they're like, well, Mary's going to be the one to have this conversation because she's got the thing going on with her son. And right, so if anyone's going to have a drug and alcohol conversation, we're going to make Mary do it. And so I think
why
Mary
would they need to have that conversation? But why would they need to have that conversation?
Because she was fucked up on the plane.
It's like if she was merely just like talking shit or merely just like whatever, fine. But like it was obviously bad enough that on some level we believe that people felt there was some other greater thing happening. So that's bad. So anyway, over at the Grand Hyatt, Brittany joins Heather. And Heather's like, I was so scared that you were going to cancel. I kept checking my phone and then I remembered you're just a friend of. You're desperate for any camera time you can get. So welcome, sister. How are you? Feels just like a stupid question to ask. I'm so sorry. You know what's an even stupider question? How about this one? You want to change seats? God, I hate stupid questions.
Oh my gosh, Heather. I just feel like I've hardly slept. I haven't eaten. She's like, oh my gosh, that's not how trips should end. Sisterhood trips especially. And there's no sister stances that would even justify the way that you were treated.
So Brittany's like,
This scene is also a battle of the teeth. It's a battle of the add-ons. What do you call the add-on teeth? Where people put the add-on teeth on? What are those called? Not dentures.
Veneers.
Veneers. Yeah, it's a veneer fight. So they're both like, what do you think? I was very hurt. Really? You were hurt? Tell me about it, sister. I was hurt.
It's like dueling pianos. So Brittany is like, no, it's hard for me to even talk about it. I can feel the trauma in my body. I feel like I've been hit by a trauma truck. Does that make sense? I wasn't listening, but when I saw that Lisa and Meredith were seated next to each other, there's something crazy. There's a crazy vortex of bullying that happens when they're together. They just feed off each other. And I saw it happen, and I assumed they would settle down. And then as you were shedding those first few tears, I went to sleep. Did anything else happen while I was asleep?
But then this is where I start going the other way. It was so bad. This vortex of bullying that you went to sleep. That doesn't make sense. So Brittany's like, well, it just got so out of control, Heather, like 4 hours and they were still at it, hair pulling. She goes, what happened with Meredith when she got up to go to the bathroom? And she said, she grabbed my seat and just shook it like this.
I'm not gonna lie. Dick move, but kind of a hilarious image of Meredith taking an airplane chair and be like, "You're taking, bitch."
Excuse me, just trying to get up, And so she was screaming, this one. And Heather's like, yeah, I think that's when I woke up in a haze. And I thought you were laughing because I saw your chair shake. And okay, so if you saw her chair shake, wouldn't you see Meredith standing up and shaking the chair?
No.
And I think Lisa said, you fucked up. Show us the video. Give us the video. And she goes, oh, so you heard her say that? And she's like, yes, I heard her. And that's when I think I'd woken up. And I said, what are you doing? Leave her alone. And then they both came at me full force. And Brittany doesn't say like, well, thanks for saying something. So
she just says, I just felt like really vulnerable. And I think they were just trying to make me feel really small. And I'm just really disappointed in myself that eventually I started crying and I just didn't want them to know that they broke me. And she says that the flight attendant kept on checking on her and they were like, are you okay, Miss Bateman? Is there anything we can get you, Miss Bateman? Are you okay, Miss Bateman? Can I get your autograph? I loved you in Miss Saigon, Miss Bateman. Yes, I saw the off Broadway Osaka version and you were wonderful in it, Miss Bateman. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, they gave me water and I don't know. I just can't believe Lisa would turn on me like that. I've been so good to her.
Yeah, I've just been so good for her. I've defended her when she wasn't even there, like fiercely. And she says, she wasn't only egging it on, she was part of it. And she was kicking my seat. And she told me to my face that I deserved it. And she says, she's just as culpable as Meredith. And I don't know. I just keep saying that I'm the unsinkable rubber ducky, but I feel really broken. And Heather's like, you deserve support. You deserve dignity. You deserve, rhymes with Misterhood, sisterhood. We are women. And so she starts doing the whole thing. And she's like, when there is a line between right and wrong, I choose the side of right, and I'm on your side. That's like, okay, bad weather. You're ganging up on people and bullying them is totally up your two's alley as well. But she's like, I'm here for you. We are going against them together. So the lines are drawn in the sand.
Yeah, she literally is like, if there was any like back and forth, there's any sort of like on the fence, don't worry. I am firmly on your team. And this is also just as great because now I can use this against Lisa. So now we go to Bronwyn and Whitney. So they go to a place called Le Depot, which I thought was where we had performed at the Depot because there's like a fancy restaurant next to the Depot. So I was like, oh my God, they're at the restaurant next to where we went. And then it wasn't at all because of course I looked it up and it was in Park City. I was like, oh, womp womp. So Whitney, she is like, oh my God, Bronwyn, you missed the flight from Hades. She's like, oh my God, what happened? Okay, so the person, tell me, it was a lot. So, well, I went and I had dinner with Mary and she told me a little bit about it. Oh, really? What did she say? Well, she said that Meredith freaked out on the plane and went ham on Brittany for hours. No, they didn't serve ham. No, it's an expression.
Meredith was completely unhinged. She was taunting her and terrorizing her, and Brittany was a puddle. Yeah, Lisa was yelling at her too and saying, you fucked up. It was ballistic. I don't know if it was fueled by alcohol, sleeping pills. I don't know, but it was pure rage. And so Braun was like, yeah, I don't know if this is exaggerated because the TSA would have done something. So this is weird. And someone would have taken a video. So for once, I'm exactly on the same page as Bronwyn. Like if it was that crazy, where's the video at? Someone would have taken a damn video.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then we see, so then Bronwyn's like, well, apparently Todd and Meredith have something in common. Need to be reminded of flight etiquette. Now, I don't know if you saw, but it was on Twitter that people are accusing Todd of getting caught on a plane cheating on me. Yeah. Yeah. I landed in Salt Lake to a mess on Twitter, and Todd was on his flight to New York and someone's caught him looking at photos of women on his phone. It happened. Her
mhms are bigger than they've been all season. She's like, you know what? I've decided I'm going to do the Watcher Crappens impersonation of me right now. They were like, she was doing like a big ol' and shaking her head. Like, I'm surprised her forehead didn't knock over a glass of water. So then we see all these tweets from this scandal of Todd being caught on a plane. I mean, I'm always amazed by people who do such brazen things like this. Like, why are you are now a public figure, sir. Why are you looking at pictures of women and why are you flirting with women on your phone in a public space, you dingbat? So Whitney is like,
so sat behind Todd Bradley on a flight from SLC to JFK. Todd was looking at a photo and text of mysterious woman in lingerie. Todd Bradley was spotted on his flight looking at women who weren't his wife. I mean, that's a nothing burger to me. Someone sitting there looking at pictures of hot women on their phone. I mean,
well, but it sounded like he was corresponding. And so either way, this is fuel for the fire.
You can't even have an affair anymore. I mean, I swear to God, people are just everywhere with their fucking cameras. Leave me alone. I'm gonna look at whatever dirty pictures I want. I paid for this seat.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
Do you believe this random person? Yeah, I do, because they knew where Todd was sitting on the plane, and they said they were sitting behind him, and they knew what flight he was on. And when he came home, I was like, what's this shit on Twitter? And he goes, what's Twitter? And I said, it's actually it's a social media thing. And he goes, what's social media? I said, it's that thing that's on your phone. He says, my Palm Pilot doesn't have anything on its phone except for a calendar. And he says, isn't that great? And I said, no, Todd, we have to talk about the affair. And he goes, what affair? Because it's not on my calendar, which is on my Palm Pilot. Do you see that my Palm Pilot has a calendar? Isn't that amazing technology? I said, it's very nice, Todd, but I'm trying to talk about something important. He goes, what's more important than the fact that we finally got a calendar on a phone? This went on for hours.
And then he goes, well, ask your friends because they love to dabble in this kind of gossip and nonsense. He said that. And it's probably them, he said. And I was like, no. Head shaking now. Absolutely not, Todd. Absolutely not.
She's like, gotcha. You were going to make me feel bad about getting into a fight with Lisa Barlow as predicted, but then you're the one who was sort of having an affair. So guess what? I get to be the winner.
Yeah. So then it changes over. Then everything changes. So like she's like, well, when I got this screenshot tweet, I was furious with him, because he had a business trip and blah, blah, blah. But we needed some space, so we got out of there. And I think they're just making, I think what they're saying on Twitter is that he was talking to someone behind my back and they were sending him photos. And if it was someone sending him photos and we talked about that ahead of time, it wouldn't even bother me. Yeah. What do you think of that? Because I don't know that I could say that to anybody else in this group of friends. But you are the one who is a swinger and got fired for putting chocolate all over your ass on camera with your husband. So I think you and I are on the same page.
What? I'm shocked. Yeah, because I think, if Todd said to me, I'd like to sleep with other people or I'd like us to do it together, I would at least try it. Look, I don't want to be done with Todd. I want to evolve with Todd and I need him to evolve with me. Okay. So, but.
And Whitney's Whitney's eyes are so wide. She's like, oh my God, does he understand that?
Well, I don't think we're all the way there yet. I mean, he's just learning about text messaging, but we're working on it. So
wait a minute. So what is the agreement?
Well, that's what irritates me is that we don't actually have one. And I would rather when Lisa says, oh, I heard Todd was making out with someone. I'm like, I bet he was. And I picked her out for him. I mean, what else? I mean, theoretically, I didn't actually do that. Did I do that? Would you want to say something before I say more? Because I feel like I'm giving a lot.
Yeah. So she gets saucy. She's like, oh yeah, I picked her out. So what do you think of that? Oh. And Whitney's like, whoa. Well, I understand that fully because I went through it with Justin because we got a lot of friends who do that, you know? They're like, they swing and have arrangements and stuff. Well, we call it different lifestyles. And like, you know, obviously with our age difference, we talk about it because he's old. And so is Todd. It's like, yeah, they're disgusting. So, you know, it's like, yeah, so I need an escape hatch. So we talk about it, especially when we're on the outs, you know, but we don't do it, of course. She's like, oh yeah. We don't do it either. Yeah, we don't do it. No, me neither. Absolutely not. We don't even think about it. We don't even think about it. So when we talk about it, we're like, what's the rules? You too?
I actually couldn't follow it that much. I was like trying to follow it. I was like, are we talking theoretically? Are we talking about this is the rule? Did you like, were there extracurriculars? Are there not extracurriculars? She's like, I just always want him to get home safe. And I always communicate with him. And I just think like life is meant to be lived. And marriage is sacred. So that's why I'm getting back on the pole. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
So she says basically the friends, she's like, Justin and I talk about it all the time, especially when we were about to break up. We talked about opening the relationship. And, you know, when my friends do it, they have to have all these rules. So, you know, you have to have rules. And the minute you do break the rules, then you're going against the marriage. But like just doing stuff and having rules, that's not really breaking the marriage. Like, I mean, I always tell Justin, you know, don't worry. I'm going to go out and I'm going to be safe and I'm going to get home fine. And then we communicate the whole time. And that's what makes it okay. Not that I do it, but you know, if I did it, it would be that way. I would text him and say, I'm going to be okay. And I'm, It's this whole big long monologue where basically she's saying we don't do it, but we do it. And when we do it, it's good because we keep in contact with each other if we did it, which we don't do it.
It's like the O.J. Simpson book that almost came to be.
If I did it,
this is how I would have done it by O.J. Simpson.
So Bronwyn is that. And Bronwyn's like, well, you know what? I'm happy and I know you're happy with Justin and I'm happy with Todd, but you know, it also has to work. And frankly, you know, most of the time it doesn't. Okay. Have you tried to do a helicopter on Walter Matthau? Okay. It's not easy.
Yeah, and we need to be evolving in the same place, in the same direction at least. And Todd can do what he wants to do, and I can do what I want to do. But we need to still be in a partnership when we get to where we want to go. 100%.
Inflating dolphin outfits are not the only thing I've been inflating in that household. Okay.
You know, I knew you'd understand because it's not that I want something so different, but like a little change, of course. Like, you know, you correct a bit, you course correct a little bit, and it goes really far off, and we need to be going in the same place. And I'm just keep speaking vagaries until your eyes glaze over because I think you're losing the thread now. Yeah. Well, there's just been times where I thought like I wanted something different and Justin thought he wanted something different, but then we wanted the same thing, but it was different. And then I wanted something different. And then I was like, Prism. And he was like, what? And I was like, communicating through it. Like we went to therapy and like we got to the brute of why we were feeling that way. The brute? Yeah. You mean the brunt? Huh?
Who's that? Yeah. But you know what? So like, you know, we fucked other people and stuff, but then we went to therapy, but then we realized we're our partners. So we didn't ever do it. You're so full of it. And she says, but when my kids are out of the house, you know, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. And she says, I'll invite you to my parties. And Bronwyn's like, yeah. By then we'll be deep in our own arrangement. So I'll come. So I thought this whole scene was pretty fascinating. I can't believe that they did it, and it seemed kind of impromptu, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. And, you know, I think, you know, I'm not like the hugest, they're not like my favorites, but I was proud of them for this scene. I thought it was good. It's nice to hear some real, honest-ish discussion about modern times and what a relationship in modern times is. So I was like, you go, girls, drinking my wine.
There's no shame.
Yes.
It was just
I
like,
wonder
this
if
is what we do.
Christina Applegate has a problem with this.
So then we go to, by the way, buried in this was this scene, which I also thought was quite compelling. And it's Angie. And so she is wearing a Greek flag, of course, because it's Angie.
I can't.
And Angie is helping Elektra pack for a trip. And by the way, this whole scene takes place in Elektra's cute little bedroom. And it's so funny because she has all these ribbons up on the wall, which is like, I don't know why the ribbons crack me up, but my favorite part is that there's like there's a picture of, what's the name of the dog? Celia or something like that, or Celiac or something. And
Celiac.
that dog.
Like, did you prepare this dog food on the same counter as gluten?
But there's a picture of the dog. It's like a photo of the dog, and the dog's just sitting there with like pink ears, like, and it's just like on this shelf on the side. I just thought it was so funny that there's this giant photo of the dog right there, and it's in the background of the entire scene. Electra's having this whole like, ugh, mom scene, and the picture of the dog is like, hey.
Yeah, so she's helping her pack, and she's going to her next horse show, and she's trying to be nice to her daughter, but her daughter is in that age where she clearly hates her. And she's like, well, you need suntan lotion. You know, that is why I get so many compliments on my skin. Do you think I have nice skin? Okay, well, for an older lady, I do. So sunblock, and don't forget to reply at midday. Why? Hello? Would you look at me? And she's like, oh, leave me alone, mother. Do you like my sweater? Did you notice it? She's like, yes, I noticed it. How could I not fucking notice it? It's a gigantic Greek flag, mother. I see it.
I know. By the way, I mean, let's also applaud Angie for some brutal honesty, because we just had a scene where Whitney and Bronwyn were saying some truths that we never thought we'd hear on the show. And now here comes Angie. She said the words older woman on a Housewives show. I don't think you're even allowed to say that. Like, what? What are you talking about? Older woman? Ha 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 ha.
I know. I'm surprised it wasn't bleeped out.
I know. So Angie's like, do you see the Greek flag? She's like, ugh, I don't like it, mother. Well, I was thinking, a lot of sports are Olympic sports, and your sport is one of the most beautiful sports in the world. Imagine if you continue on, you could actually compete in the Olympics for Greece. What do you think of that? Angie just putting Elektra on an Olympic track out of nowhere for Greece.
For Greece. And she's like, why? I'm American. Why would I be on an Olympic team for Greece? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And she's like, but your grandfather is from Greece, and isn't that great? She's like, I mean, I don't really care. And she goes, well, Electra's like, yeah, like Papa didn't immigrate for me to represent Greece. And she's like, well, I'm sure that wasn't on his radar at 17. Being a Greek is in your roots, and that's when your ancestors are from. And I can relate, because when I was 13 years old, I thought about being Greek or being American, and none of this stuff even crossed my mind. But the fact is, you are Greek. I'm aware. I am Greek. I'm aware. We are Greek. I know, mother. Stop saying Greek.
I have to say, when she said Papu didn't immigrate for me to represent Greece, I was like, damn, that was cold. That was so cold. Papu was like, I literally did that. He's like, when I was 13 and I moved to America, I thought someday I'll have a granddaughter who'll do equestrian and represent Greece in the Olympics. So, and
but it is true. It is true. I think I think that she has a point. I think the kid has a point. I mean, my family immigrated here. My grandparents immigrated here, and it was very important for them, for their children to be American. They were full-blood Lebanese, but they wanted them to be American. So they didn't teach them the language. They didn't teach them, they grew up only being American, and it was very important for them. They're like, we escaped that for this, so we want you to be proud of this. And all my cousins, all of us have a lot of pride in being Lebanese. We know the food. We try to get into the culture and stuff like that. But the wishes of our grandparents were to be Americans, so I can kind of see what she's saying, where it's like, okay, well, this is all kind of latent. Like, we're also American, and Angie found pride later in life. And a lot of people do. I think especially Greek people, because I've known a lot of Greek people, and there's no taking that away. They love being Greek. They're very into being Greek, as they should be. But I can see how the kids are like, what the fuck? Leave me alone with this. You didn't even start this until you were on the show. And now you're on this show. You got popular for talking about being Greek. And now everything about you is a Greek flag. I think it's probably how Elektra feels.
I think actually, I mean, honestly, Angie basically sitting her daughter down and being like, I've been thinking about it, and I think I want you to be an Olympian and you have to represent Greece is like a wild thing to drop on your daughter, who's just like, I'm just trying to get back onto TikTok. It's like, guess what? You will now be doing this on an international stage for Athens. So, Angie, though, I have to say, as crazy as the request is, Angie is like, I think this is an incredibly sweet scene, and it's like very moving. She's like, Electra, it's an honor to have roots in a country that started civilization. I'm like, well, it didn't start civilization, but like democracy maybe, but let's relax here a little bit. It's like, every time we go there, you've gotten to see where Papu is from and all the hardships he went through, and you're sitting in this beautiful house with a roof over your head, with food, with hot water, with shoes, with a mattress that's 3 counties wide, all the things that Papu never had. Do you know why you're riding that horse that costs as much as my Porsche? She's like, whoa,
what?
Really?
It does? I'm selling this shit the second I get a chance.
Yes, and I think just the thought of having all of this because he didn't makes me even more grateful for the country that he came from. That is why I'm considering becoming a dual citizen, and I am going to be joining the Olympics in... I'll be joining the Olympics in doing Olympic level perms. That's why I've been practicing.
So Electra, just standing there ready to twist the knife, is like, yeah, well, I think I resonate more with Dad's side of the family history because Papa's a trainer and Papa's grandpa was a trainer. I'm into horses. And she's like, I was not raised around horses, so it hurts to know she's more connected to something I didn't even know about. But I want her to embrace being Greek and the heritage and the culture. And I'm hoping that it's just a phase and that she comes back around. And Electra's like, I mean,
does
like
she even know about Pegasus? We literally have flying horses in Greece. I mean, come on.
One time I said, knock, knock. And she said, who's there? And I said, Olympia Dukakis. And she said, Olympia Dukakis who? And it broke my heart.
It broke my heart like a plate on so many floors. So Electra's like, you're forcing the Greekness upon me and also America, quite frankly. And like, you won't let me go anywhere with that. You don't let me wear anything but Greek. Okay. And you don't let me wear anything. Everything I have to wear is Greek. And you have Greek mugs. You got Greek sweaters. You make me take Greek lessons. You make me go to freaking Greek church. I have to go to Greek Starbucks. I literally have to travel to Athens to get Starbucks once a year.
She's like, but guess what? I had to do those things too. And do you know, at your age, I didn't want to go to Sunday school. I didn't want to go to Greek dance. I didn't want to have to go to Greek school, but now I'm glad I did it. So do you know how many people wish they were Greek? They do. And I spent my whole life saying my dad was an immigrant, and I didn't say my mom was an immigrant because I didn't go to my mom's village. And so she's talking about how she wasn't really, knowledgeable about her mom's history, and she doesn't want Electra to feel the same way. And she's like, okay, I got your point. It's not like I like Dad's side more. It's just like I do what they do. It's like, I'm Dad and you're just like over there, it's not bad. I mean, you can be over there, but like, I'm over here.
And she's
stay over there. She's like, yeah. And you just see Angie's heartbreaking. And I saw a Reddit post, and I didn't read the whole thing, but it said, I just realized that Angie named her daughter after a Greek character that hated and then murdered her own mother.
I know, it is kind of funny. Electra is a really bold choice. Like, what about like Persephone? Well, Persephone gets dragged down to hell, but Hera, Athena, really
something.
Nia Vardalos, anything. But Angie,
Nia.
This is my daughter.
Just named your baby the whole name, Nia Vardalos. That's her whole
name. Nia Vardalos Katsanevas. So Angie is like, I support that. I just want to share with you why this is really special to me. And I think it's going to mean a lot to Papu. And I think one day it's going to mean a lot to you. And Electra's like, okay, maybe in the future. Maybe in the future.
Maybe one day I'll give a shit about you, Mother. Okay, come here. Give me a Greek hug. God damn it, Mother.
But poor Angie, she looks like she's going to, she is, when she's talking about wanting to, like she says, she's just, when she's saying that she hopes that Electra comes around to it, like she's literally choking up. And actually, I thought it was a pretty beautiful scene.
Yeah.
Oh, it was look nice. Look at that little Dolma.
Bueller was very upset by it. My little grape leaf. So now we go to Heather at Marmalade, Cafe Marmalade. Lady Mama. So she gets a table and we see the time passing. It's 11:10, then it's 11:35, then it's 11:57, then it's 12:15. Now it's 12:26, and then enter Dorit Kemsley.
I know, right? So it's Lisa. Lisa meets Heather. Hi, how's it going? Yeah, that was a lot. It was a lot.
Because Heather's just giving her this look like, really? Because she doesn't even come in like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I'm late. There was so much traffic from Temple or whatever. Like, it was nuts. Like, there were so many wagons on the road. You wouldn't even believe it. But I'm here now. She doesn't even do that. She's just like, hi. Okay, how are you doing? And Heather's like, you seriously just made me wait for you for an hour and a half.
Seriously. So Lisa's like, so Meredith was like upset and I just wanted to soothe her. It just didn't work. It was a lot. I mean, I just wanted to talk about the whole thing because like from where it started to where we're at now, because Brittany doesn't want to be around you. Isn't that terrible? Brittany doesn't want to be around you.
But why me? Why me though? But why me? But why?
Because you were terrible to her. You were horrifying.
No, I didn't do anything to her. I didn't do anything to Brittany. You know what? I just kept saying, send her the fucking TikTok. That's all I said. Like, I didn't do anything to her.
Lisa, you kept telling her she fucked up. You said you fucked up, Brittany. Show us the TikTok. Show us the TikTok. You were being a bad Mormon.
All I said was send her the TikTok, okay? Because it started when we got to the airport and Meredith started like freaking out. Like when we were going through Barbados, like we had to get our bags and she was like freaking out about it.
Well, first of all, you'll forgive me if I wasn't paying attention in Barbados because I was trying to find my internet friend Rihanna, one of my favorite DMers, and I was distracted. But from what I could tell, you were gagging up on Brittany during the sisterhood time.
No, I didn't gang up on her. I don't do that. I don't do that.
It felt like we were trapped in a plane and you guys wouldn't stop and you guys were egging her on. You were antagonizing Lisa.
No, she did not say that. No, she didn't. She didn't say that.
Horrifying.
No.
It was like,
you know what?
Mom
Heather's
Sorensen.
trying to let me into this. Like, what the fuck? You know what? You're not my God, okay? And you're not my judge, okay? So who the fuck do you think you are? Like, who are you? Meredith wasn't even talking to her. You know what? First of all, Meredith was yelling at me about her the whole plane ride. So she was like just getting like so upset and she started like screaming at Whitney, like, where's the TikTok? Where's the TikTok? So I just leaned over my chair and then, like she was in front of me. So I was like, Brittany, where's the fucking TikTok? Just give her the TikTok. And then you guys had a problem with that. Somebody else should have stepped in if you had a problem. Where was everybody else?
I did step in. I stepped in by looking over and then going to take a nice long nap. And I was sound asleep until the very end. And you guys were yelling at me is what woke everybody else up. You were yelling at me.
No, I did not yell at you. I did not yell at you one time, okay? And I did nothing to Brittany, so stop it. You know what? You can't order me beignet baskets and then accuse me of stuff like that. What?
Well, first of all, I think we all agree these are the best beignets we have here in Salt Lake City, and there's no other establishment.
These are beignet. How dare you?
There's no other establishment in the city that does a beignet that's even close to this one. I'll just say that right now.
Whatever, I didn't do anything. Okay, then, why did 4 women have to gather around her then and physically help her off the plane? We had to get her a wheelchair, Lisa. We had to get her one of those electronic wheelchairs that took her all the way back to her car.
Well, maybe if she'd had some of the beignets at the Vita Premier Lounge, she would have been in a better mood because they're the best beignets in the city, okay? And I was preserving my peace. I don't know why that's so complicated for everybody.
Well, I don't know why someone should be punished because they don't do what you tell them to do. Excuse me, weren't you just chasing her around a boat, screaming at her and calling her a bitch because she wouldn't confess to something that you wanted her to confess to? I mean, I don't know that you're the right messenger for this, man.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So Lisa's like, I'm talking to you as a friend who doesn't appreciate a good beignet.
Well, I'm talking to you as a friend.
If Brittany is upset,
I'm talking to you. No, because I'm talking to you as a friend.
No, you're not.
No, I don't feel.
Talk to me as a sisterhood. Talk to me
Brittany's
as
upset, then I feel horrible for Brittany being upset. But can she take responsibility for anything, though? Can she
So
take
it feels like you're saying she
responsibility?
deserved it. You're saying she deserved it.
No.
Wait, you're saying she's a terrible person. Are you saying that she's a murderer? You literally are accusing her of murder? That's terrible, Lisa.
No, I'm not saying she did that. You know, like the only murder here is happening to that beignet that you're murdering right now. Okay.
You know what? I
she
don't
was sobbing,
appreciate that.
Lisa. Yeah, and she felt wine being splashed on her, Lisa, and her chair being moved, and felt hassled and bullied by you guys for the entire fucking flight.
No, we did not hustle and bully her. Don't put me in that statement, Heather.
Yeah, but I'm telling you how Brittany felt, and that's all that matters, not facts, feelings. That's what matters in a court of law. So why would she think her chair was being jostled?
Meredith said when she got up to go to the bathroom, she grabbed her chair as leverage to get herself up. It was just leverage.
Spilling wine on her.
Leverage. It was
But you
leverage.
know what?
And
The
the wine
wine-
went on me. It went
Yeah.
on me, by the way. She was talking with her hands and facing me and this and that. And her hand was like this and that. And the wine was on me. If anything, I think we all saw the way that she can control water in the air. And she forced all of it, all the liquid. It went onto me. I was the victim. I got hurt.
Well, it went on Brittany. She goes, no, it didn't. It didn't get on Brittany. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Mm-mm. It was on
I was on the
me.
fucking plane, Lisa. Why are you telling me a different version than what I saw on the plane?
You were asleep half the time. Just entering that. Yeah, but you know what? I didn't yell at you at all. I was like, she's really upset, you know? And then you were basically telling me to control Meredith, but I can't control Meredith. I mean, you were 3 feet away from her. Why couldn't you do it?
Well, the second I woke up, I did. I woke up and then I ordered a Diet Coke and I went back to sleep. I really controlled it. And you know what? And guess what? Meredith was not happy about that.
And she's like, but nobody said anything. I got into a huge fight with Meredith. What are you talking about?
And so Lisa's like, yeah, well, you got into a huge fight with Meredith. I don't believe that. What are you talking about? And
She
she's
says,
like,
you did it after the plane. You didn't say anything on the plane. And Heather's like, no, it happened in the seat. And she goes, no, because I was diffusing her in the seat and I was the one keeping her away from Brittany. And I don't agree with what she said. And I'm not going to be. And so now she's like, I'm not taking blame for Meredith. She's like, I'm not going to be held responsible for what Meredith said.
Yeah. So Lisa's just she's like, I'm not going to be part of this. And Heather's like, I'm trying to have an honest conversation and you're just refusing to engage. She's like, no, this isn't an honest conversation. This is an accusatory conversation over subpar beignets.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, basically she's telling her, it's the same thing as usual. It's like, you did this, Lisa. And she's like, no, I didn't. And she says that Brittany's been a good friend to her in the past and she's been a good friend to her, but she did come from Meredith in her marriage. So is she going to take any accountability for that? I mean, cause that's crazy. She's like, she's trying to hurt Meredith and her family. It's mental to me. Am I in Willy Wonka's whatever? What is that? Is it a land that he's in? The Willy Wonka land? I'm like an Oompa Loompa. Is an Oompa Loompa going to come out? This is nuts to me. I at least want some chocolate. This is crazy. It's like Cuckoo Town. This is like Cuckoo Town. By the way, I love Oompa Loompa spray tans. I will credit them for that. But otherwise, this is terrible.
I loved watching her workshop through that. It's like Willy Wonka's. It's Willy Wonka's. It's like the elevator. It's like a glass elevator, but the elevator's not made of glass. You're trying to look out of it, you can't see anything. And then you're like, where'd that girl go? Where'd the blueberry girl go? But she's a blueberry now. So you're like, there's nope. Why is there blueberries in a chocolate factory? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense if you think about it. And Cocoa Puffs, because Cocoa Puffs are not actually a Wonka property, but I think that they could really merge their brands. They could do a collab for Sundance. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. What are we talking about?
Yeah, so Lisa's like, okay, here I am with Heather again. Every time I'm with Heather, she's accusing me of some shit, right? So she's like, I'm done. So she gets up and Heather's like, you can fucking leave then. I'm just a fucking bitch. You call me a fucking bitch, you can fucking leave. And she's like, yeah, you know what? You fucking bitch. You can't do this to me. So I'm drinking my juice. You know what? I'm not even going to leave then. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to drink my juice.
Yeah, I'm going to leave my juice. Okay, well, you know what? I waited an hour for you. No, you're trying to put that on me. No, I was in a different time zone. So I was actually on time in a different time zone. So don't even put that on me.
So Heather's doing this whole, Brittany is destroyed. How could you? And, all I want you to do is be a good friend. I'm just trying to talk to you. And she's very upset. And Lisa's like, well, she's upset with the wrong person. So then I thought it was over because this has been an episode. A lot of time. We're at 2 hours right now in this recap. This is crazy. We're like an hour 55. So this has been very long, but no.
But then
there's another scene.
And guess what? Plot twist. You probably were wondering, why did Ben give that stupid anecdote about thinking that they went to the restaurant next to the depot? And I got all excited. And now Meredith and Mary meet up at a place called Asher Adams. And guess what? This was the restaurant, the fancy restaurant next to the place that we performed. What are the odds? Oh my God. I was so excited. And I was like, this is the most stupid thing to get excited about. But I was like, I was just thinking about that restaurant. And then they're actually in it in the same episode. Isn't this crazy? And I was like, all the listeners are going to be so on my side with this. And they're going to be so happy I took them on this journey. And so you're welcome, everyone.
Well, I'm glad that worked out for you.
Yeah, it was fun. So Mary meets up with Meredith. Meredith is all smiles. Like, hi, look at this. We're at Asher Adams, right next to the depot. I was once there with Ben and Ronnie. And Mary's like, yeah.
So how are you doing? And she's like, well, you know what? I mean, fine, great. And she just stares at her. She gives her that look like, go ahead. Bring up what you're going to bring up, Mary. She's just looking at her like, I dare you. So Mary's like, okay, well, I feel like the last time I saw you, you weren't happy. And you know what? I've seen you go off and do the whole enough, but this was different than that.
Yeah. Well, what is it that you think happened? Because I think there's a lot of stuff that's floating around out there.
And she's like, well, I don't think that anything happened. I was there, so I saw it happen.
Well, the reality is I was upset. I vented to a friend. Brittany had headphones on. I don't think she could even hear anything I was saying, even when I took the headphone off her ear and I said, you dumb bitch. I don't think she heard that, so...
And she's like, well, I think you wanted her to hear you. So that's a new thing, too, that she was sitting there with headphones the whole time. Not that it makes that big of a difference. But if you see someone wearing like an iPhone Pro with noise canceling, I would assume that they couldn't hear me talking shit either. I wonder how much shit I've talked on planes that people can't hear. But anyway, I'm not going to excuse Meredith because I know that she's guilty. At this point, I'm like, you're guilty. Okay, just say you're guilty.
Mary looks shaken and she looks like she's like, I don't want to have this conversation, but I have to. She's like giving intervention energy right now. So she's like, well, I'm just going to say it went on for a minute. It's like, well, it was about 15 minutes. So yeah, it was more than a minute, but 15 is fine. She's like, no, Meredith. She's like, yeah, no, I feel a little concerned because I feel like it was a little bit longer than you remember. She's like, well, okay, well, look, all I know is I was sleeping and I watched 2 movies, How to Race in the Rain with the Dog. It's a beautiful movie about a dog and Amanda Seyfried. It was beautiful. And I slept for over an hour afterwards. It was a very peaceful flight. I barely even said a peep. No, it was longer. Okay, fine. I watched Mamma Mia too. But I watched the sequel. I watched both Mamma Mias. I watched 2 Mamma Mias in the dog movie. There, I said it. I watched 3 movies. Okay, I lied.
And she's like, yeah, it was definitely longer. She goes, okay, so it was 30 minutes then. There's only so much time on a flight. So how long could it have been? Jeez. And so Mary's like, yeah, I heard this. And maybe Meredith is in Mars and we're in Venus. I don't know. And so Meredith is like, you know what? If anyone's telling you different, that's just not the case. And she says, I was there. And she goes, you were sleeping. So please. And she's like, well, but every time I woke up, I heard you. And she's like, well, that's impossible. You were across the plane. She's like, no, I wasn't. I was in the window seat, a row in front of you. And she's like, you were still on the other side of the plane, Mary. And she goes, like, yeah, and I still heard you. So I shouldn't hear you if I'm across the plane. And I shouldn't have heard it, but I did hear it.
Well, I can't speak to what you could hear or couldn't hear. That's going to be on you. And Mary, what's interesting is that the tenor of Mary's confrontation is not, you're lying. The tenor is like, I am concerned for you, right? So she's like, well, do you remember Whitney saying, Meredith, please be quiet, people are complaining? Well, she never said people were complaining. She asked me to be quiet and no one complained. And if I was yelling and screaming, I would have had an air marshal there to arrest me. So thank you very much.
As this is being spun into something it's not, and I was in my feelings and I vented to a friend, and that's all there is to it. And she's like, no. And she's like, it's not being spun into something, Meredith. It's just like, we were all there, okay? We were there. And it concerns me because I want you to remember what happened. And she's like, I do remember, Meredith.
She's like, I feel like you don't. She's like, well, I do.
I do.
Well, I really feel like you don't. And I'm not saying that in a tactic kind of way. She's like, I do. It's like, well, I was tuned in to you because I was concerned. You're Meredith Marks and you care how you are projected and you have an image. But I also think it's important to take accountability and move forward from it. Meredith, maybe.
So Meredith is basically, Meredith says, look, Mary did not see or hear anything because she couldn't see me from where she was sitting unless she literally stood up and turned around. She even had headphones on when I got up and walked by her. And I don't know what she thinks happened, but it doesn't line up with what I know happened. And Lisa was sitting next to me and she knows what happened. And I think Whitney got into Mary's ear and told Mary these things happened and Mary believed her. But it's a big nothing sandwich and there's nothing else to it.
Let me tell you something. The headphones is a weak excuse because I've heard so many people over my headphones, noise canceling included, and the headphones don't push everything away. Especially if you are fixating on what someone's saying, you really can hear things. So headphones, not a great defense. So Meredith says, oh, I have no interest in trying to hurt somebody, but she wants to hurt me. And she's like, but would you be willing to be like, Brittany, the situation was bad and I apologize? I mean, is that what you think I should do? Yeah.
And she says, yeah, for your wellness, I think it would be healthy. And she's like, yeah, you can't move forward in this group without apologizing. And Meredith says, well, I don't know. I have to think it through. And that's the end. So I was left kind of like, okay, I believe that Meredith and Lisa were acting like assholes, but it's like within the Housewives Behavior Handbook. And so that's why they don't think anything is wrong. I think they're both thinking of it like, well, we were just fighting on a boat for 3 days. Why would this be any different? Like, I just was doing the same thing to her all morning. So I was doing that to her on the boat. So why is this such a huge deal? And I think the point that you made was correct, that they weren't filming. And so it's different. But I think that's probably how she's thinking of it. It's like, why is this behavior sometimes okay? Now you guys are acting like I'm the Antichrist. And especially not coming from Mary, but coming from people like Whitney and Heather. I do believe that Whitney and Heather are probably exaggerating this a lot because they're the ones making, Mary said she heard stuff and it wasn't great right at the beginning. But the ones who were saying she was screaming and going ballistic and blah, blah, blah were Whitney and Heather. And I never believe Whitney and Heather because they just lie too much. So yeah, bad weather. So I believe it's somewhere in the middle. I think Meredith and Lisa were assholes and Whitney and Heather are just blowing it up to make them look as bad as possible. But either way, it was mean and it wasn't cool of them to do it. And she should apologize and be like, okay, I went too far. If everybody tells you you're dead, lay down.
What's going to really suck for Meredith is having to go step right into BravoCon. And this is the biggest thing that just happened right before the weekend. So now she's going to have to answer all these questions and people will be like, what happened? And people are like, that was mean. She'll probably deal with questions from the audience. But what also, we see the mid-season trailer, we see that Mary arranges an apology lunch at Valters. And she's basically saying no one knows how to apologize. So if, in fact, at this luncheon, Meredith gives a heartfelt apology to Brittany, it sucks for Meredith because she knows there's this heartfelt apology coming up and she's gonna have to sit through all of this shit all weekend from people being like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she's like, I am about to apologize. Just wait for it, But either way, it's not a great look for Meredith, I think, at the end of the day.
No.
But I thought it was a fantastic episode. I thought it was like everything that I wanted. It was the best episode of the season for me.
It was a great, I think they've all been so good this year. It's been a great season, a great episode. Yeah, I was some comment somewhere. That's all I do is read fucking internet. But somebody was like, these shows are past their date. All these housewife shows are just over. This just needs to end and blah, blah, blah. They're not over. They're not. I'm sorry. Some of them suck right now. Potomac's not great. I wouldn't say it sucks, but it's like got a lot of new people. It's struggling. Atlanta's still kind of struggling. OC has kind of hit some stumbling blocks this year, even though it's been an okay season for the most part. Some of them are okay, and some of them are just great. This one and Miami both have been fucking killer this season, and I just don't think these shows are over. I just don't see it. I think they're so good.
People need to shut the fuck up. I'm going to say this
Even
right
the ones
now
that aren't
because
great, I still love. You know, like Potomac, I feel like is struggling, but I still love watching it, and I still laugh every single time I watch it. I mean,
I think
shows are still
Potomac
good.
is excellent this season. Honestly, we disagree on that, but I think that people need to like hush up because what happens, this is what always happens. Is people are not happy with something or another, and then they complain and they say, oh, everything should be thrown out. And then what happens is that like network executives are like, oh no, is something wrong? And then they retool everything. And then we get served like garbage. And then we have to wait for that to retool again until it's like, right. It's like sometimes you're not going to like, you might not like certain things. And I say this as someone who complained a lot about various shows. And, you know, I get it, but don't say broadly that all these shows are over and they just need to be taken off the air because you're just reacting because there was something you didn't like. And like, you can not like something, you can not like a character, you can be bored with the storyline, but to say that all these shows are done, no, you're done. These shows are still here and they're vital.
Done.
They're vital and they're excellent.
Put a fork in
And
yourself.
don't
You are done.
Listen, be careful what you wish for, okay? Because the moment like you network executives do some fuckery sometimes, and if you get them touching things that aren't really that broken, you will be ruining the day. Okay, you will be like Elektra,
You'll
not
be
appreciating her Greek
McClanahan
ancestry.
the day that you said that. All right, well, this has been a super fun one. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. Join us in Vegas, 10 p.m. at Beer Park in the Paris Hotel for our Crappens party at BravoCon. It's going to be some good times. We'll see a lot of you there. We'll see a lot of you hanging around Vegas. Go see Amy Phillips' show Thursday, Friday, or Saturday in Vegas at the Planet Hollywood Hotel. Tickets are still available. Go to her link in bio at Meet Amy Phillips. Thanks so much to everybody who's with us. We will talk to you with Real Housewives of Orange County.
Bye.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King. It's always a party on Allison Block.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's the Foster and the Furious. It's Amanda Foster. It's always automatic with Ashley Auto. Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offit. We never miss her call. It's Diane Call. Big yay, it's Emily Gauthier.
Erin McNicholas. She don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones. I go, you go, we all go for Hugo. Jamie. She has no last namey.
She's our kind of mess. It's Jennifer Messer. Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Que sera, whatever will be, will Lauren Silsby. She gets an A from us, it's Lindsay D.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McHenry.
We love her on the rocks, it's Melissa Cox.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Livin' with Michelle Vivian.
I love ya, Olivia Williamson.
She sure is swell. It's Raquel.
Yes, we canna. It's Savannah.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. Let's share with Sharon Eldridge.
Darn Skippy, it's Tippy.
And our super premium sponsors.
Make way for AJ Lopez.
She's VVIP. It's Amanda V. Can't lose when you're with Amy Baldwin.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Put us on a stretcher, it's Charlotte Fletcher.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Who, what, why, where, and Gwen Pentland.
Let's go into the woods with Guy Tubbs.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. Hail the Cork Master, the Master of the Cork, Jennifer Corcoran. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish. She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
She's a total knockout. It's Katie Manock.
We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley. In the study with a candlestick, it's Leslie Peacock. Gee, it's Lisa H. We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron. She's a whiz, it's Liz Sarthy. Always killing it, it's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
She eases our woes, it's Melissa St. Rose.
There's a chance of meatballs. It's Rebecca Cloud.
Maximum love for Sandy Maximoska.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke.
We cannot tell a lie. It's Sarah Tellefson.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony.
Please don't stop. It's Soli and Pop.
Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
We're obsessed doll with Tessa V.
You'll always get the full story with Tori Parsons.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Couture. We love you guys.